Thank you for tuning in to any of our videos. We also want to just ask your forgiveness if anything in this comes off offensive or abrasive. It is not our intent to cause division. What we would like you to do is enter into just a relationship as a believer with us, knowing that we're as much of a work in progress as you are, and that you would continue to pray for Nehemiah Abilene.
Who's got it? Jeremiah 29:11, go for it. Listen, yesterday we talked about being in the absolute awe of God, right? The expanse of God, how big he is, can be terrifying, like sitting on the sea in a tiny little boat, right? So listen, what more would you want than to know that God knows his own thoughts towards you? Because there's no way that I can even understand the thoughts of a God that designed us whenever it was that our very breath would cry out his name. To wrap your mind around that, to wrap your mind around what happens inside the human body, literally to fully understand what occurs when you take a breath into your body, what all manifests, literally, physically, scientifically happens in your body and comes out, takes people 10 to 12 years to fully understand. We try to have a logic or analytical understanding of what God is going to do in our life, and I'm here to tell you that you don't. That you don't. You don't and you won't, but do you want his will regardless? Because that's what he wants. It's not up to us for us to know the mind of God. It's for us to have the mind of Christ, to be ready and willing to act out his will on earth, which is my will. My will becomes his will. I don't know if you know that yet. You ain't got to say to God, what's your will? What's your will? That's still some selfish shit. That's like asking for purpose. Just get to know him. Get to know him, and then the decisions you become his will. Because you have a mind of Christ, one with him as you are one with me. That was Jesus' own prayer. Do you think his prayer came to nothing? Or do you think the Father, being a good Father and that being the favorite Son, fulfilled the prayer? Yes. Teach me your ways. For I know the plans I have for you. Keep going.
Thoughts of peace and not of evil.
Boom, there it is. Did that say thoughts of plenty and not want? It said thoughts of peace, not evil. You're gonna listen. If you trust my thoughts, if you trust his thoughts he has for us, I'll have peace, because his thoughts for me are that of peace. Now he's outside of time. Whereas as believers, we're raised up to plant a tree so that it shades the next generation. You're never going to get to sit under it, but your grandkids will. They'll get to sit and they'll get to say, my granddaddy planted this tree and it bears fruit every year in season. Because he loved us enough. And so God says, listen, I have thoughts of peace for you, but I believe that when he says you, it's the bloodline that started long ago. And he says you, and it points to this bloodline that has many, many, many generations. And when he reaches down and touches, it's a 40-year touch. A 40-year touch, an entire generation is touched. And then it happens for 4 generations. That's scripture, guys. So the things that we're experiencing now, I believe our salvation and our revelation of is because whoever was in your line 4 generations ago, your granddaddy's daddy, your grandmama's mama, this is what's being produced right now, the fruit of their prayer.